Well, greetings, everybody. Today we are going to study events before 666. Most people have heard about 666. That's the beast, the Antichrist, who makes it so you receive a mark, and it's called the number of his name, or the number, and they say, figure it out, it comes to 666. And so what we're going to do is look at events leading up to the giving out of 666. So it's my belief that Daniel 11:40, Daniel chapter 11 and verse 40 has already taken place. And we'll look at that. Daniel 11:40 says, at the time of the end, right, the end of days, the end of the ages, before Jesus returns, at the time of the end, the king of the south shall attack him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind, with chariots and horsemen, and with many ships, and shall enter the countries, plural, overwhelm them and pass through. Well, there is a great military power in the Middle East that has captured two Middle Eastern countries. That's happened years ago, and it's still happening right now. So currently these two countries in the Middle East are occupied by this great military force. Now we go to verse 41 in Daniel 11. He shall also enter the glorious land. Glorious land is code for Israel, the land of Palestine where the Israeli people live. Right? So he shall enter the glorious land, and so this is all in one sentence. So this is a together thing. So this great military power enters the glorious land, or the land of Israel, and many countries shall be overthrown. So if he is entering the glorious land Israel to help protect them from being attacked by all the surrounding Muslim countries, and he attacks the many countries around Israel, it says, and many countries shall be overthrown. Okay, then goes to verse 42, he shall stretch out his hand against the countries, and the land of Egypt shall not escape. Now, for 30 years, Mubarak was ruling Egypt. Mubarak was an ally of the American people. They had this peace treaty with Israel, so that Egypt, that has the biggest population, that has the biggest military in the region, even though they're Muslims, they were at peace with Israel. Israel was safe from attack from the southern border with Egypt. That's changed. Mubarak is gone, and now the Muslim Brotherhood is putting together a leadership, a government down there, and the Muslim Brotherhood don't like Israel, and they also would like to see Israel pushed into the sea. So now we have a situation where Egypt is beginning to act like other Muslim countries. And so it's more likely that it might be captured, especially if it started attacking Israel. Right? Syria is in a condition where there's a whole bunch of chemical weapons in there, and we don't know whose hands they're going to fall into, and it's making us very nervous. The Pentagon has already said that it would take 75,000 American troops to go into Syria to safeguard all those chemical weapons. That means the Pentagon, with the permission of the Oval Office, did their homework, and they did their calculations, and they told the press we would need 75,000 American troops. They're thinking about it. It could happen. Okay, so he says, verse 42, let's see, and Egypt shall not escape. Verse 43, he says, and he shall have power. This is the great military king of the north. He shall have power over the treasures of gold and silver, and over all the precious things of Egypt. So this is not a half-hearted, we just got a police action going on in Egypt. No, they are captured lock, stock, and barrel, right? Okay, Daniel 11:44. Now, just picture this. We've intervened, we've interacted with Tripoli and Gaddafi and Libya, and brought down the Libya, regime of Gaddafi. We've got Patriot missiles on the border with Turkey and Syria, manned by American troops, right? So if we had to, we'd go in to get the chemical weapons in Syria. We don't like Iran, and if Iran gets too close to having its own nuclear weapon, somebody's got to go in there and stop that. Right? So this picture we see in Daniel 11 is Israel is protected, and all these surrounding attacking Muslim countries are in themselves captured, especially Egypt. So if you see in your news headlines, a great military power has captured Egypt, you just saw these verses fulfilled. Now you need to pay close attention to the next verse, because the next verse, Daniel 11:44, says, "But news from the east and the north." Well, where are these troops? They're in the Middle East. They're protecting Israel around Jerusalem. What's north and east of Jerusalem is two great military powers. Now, this is a great military power. If it's some little podunk power that says, "We'll come and get you," like if it was Australia, and said, "We're going to attack," nobody would pay any attention, right? That's ridiculous. It has to be threatening military powers in the north and in the east. Okay, what happens? Verse 44, "News from the east and the north trouble him." Trouble him. It's like this is a serious threat. So it troubles him. "Therefore," says your Bible, "he shall go out with great fury to destroy and annihilate many." In 21st century language, that is one serious, devastating world event. And if Egypt gets captured, watch out, because that event is about to happen, so says God. Now, when the huge battle is over, King of the North A, and I'm introducing this King of the North A idea because there are three kings of the north, and we're going to see that in just a second, right? So when this King of the North A has finished with the battle with this great military power to the north and this great military power to the east, this is what he does in verse 45. "And he shall plant the tents of his palace between the seas and the glorious holy mountain," that's Jerusalem, that's Mount of Olives in that area, "yet he shall come to his end." So the battle with the northern military and the battle with the eastern military is over, because in the next verse, "Then he plants the tents of his palace between the seas." So he survived. But he did, how did it say? Great fury to destroy and annihilate many. He nullified the military power in the north and the military power in the east. Right? Then he plants his tents of the palace between the seas and the holy mountain. "Yet he shall come to his end, and no one will help him." So he's been this mighty military power for quite some time. He's captured Egypt. He's captured a whole bunch of nations in the Middle East. He's been threatened by the powers in the north and the powers in the east. He's taken care of those two powers. He's planted but he comes to his end. And he doesn't say how he comes to his end. It just says he comes to his end, right? Okay, so King of the North A, and that's the one we've been talking about, comes to his end as a great military power. But he is replaced by a second great leader. And we're going to see that. I've got that here, right? We are going to be looking at three kings of the north. Most people just read King of the North and they think there's just one king of the north. No, there are three kings of the north, right? In verse 18 of Daniel 11, same chapter, Daniel 11, but earlier. In verse 18 it says, "After this he shall turn his face to the coastlands and take many." Verse 19, "Then he shall turn his face towards the fortress of his own land, but he shall stumble and fall and not be found." Okay, this is the king of the north. He stumbles and he falls and he shall not be found. But look what happens in the next verse. In the next verse, verse 20, "There shall arise in his place." So, first king of the north A, as I'm calling him, he stumbles and he falls, but in verse 20 he is replaced by another king of the north. I'm calling him King of the North B, right? In his place arises somebody who imposes taxes on the glorious kingdom. Code word for Israel. Israel is still alive and well, and this guy wants to impose taxes. Well, the United Nations wants to impose a tax on everybody on the planet to fund the United Nations. They've been working on this for years. Okay, within a few days, he shall be destroyed. So he's king of the north B, but he replaces king of the north A. He comes on the scene, he plans to impose taxes. Within a few days he's destroyed, not in anger or in battle. He's gone, but he's the meat in the sandwich. King of the north A finishes. He's replaced by king of the north B, who is gone within a few days. And then verse 21, in his place is where you get king of the north C. In his place, he replaces king of the north B. Right? In his place arises a vile person and seize the kingdom by intrigue. Verse 31, down 10 verses later, this same king of the north Sea, and forces shall be mustered by him, and they shall defile the sanctuary fortress, i.e. the holy place in Jerusalem. Then he shall take away the daily sacrifices, which will have been started by this time, and he will place there the abomination of desolation. So this king of the North Sea is the beast power. He's the king of the North Sea. He is the Antichrist, right? And we refer to him, I've got this here to remind us, that the 666 beast power is the king of the North Sea. Right? Now Jesus talks about it in Matthew 24, verse 15. Therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, we were reading Daniel, standing in the holy place, whoever reads, let him understand. Put together Daniel, put together Matthew 24, put together Revelation so you understand. Verse 16 of Matthew 24, then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Get out of there, get safely up into the mountains. In Luke 21, it says, 21:20, it says, when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then know that the desolation is nigh. Let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Same kind of language. For these are the days of vengeance, that all things that are written shall be fulfilled. Luke 21:23, but woe to those who are pregnant, for there will be great distress in the land and wrath upon this people. Which people? The people in Judea, the Israeli people. Luke 21:24, and they will fall by the edge of the sword and will be led away captive into all nations. This is the point with King of the North number C. This is the point where Israel goes into captivity. And Jerusalem will be trampled by the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles is fulfilled. So, back to Revelation now. Revelation 13:4. So they worship the beast, saying, who is like the beast? Who can make war with him? Well, that's a way of saying this is now the new world military superpower. Right now, you can say this of the United States of America. Who can make war with the United States of America? Right? But many events have to take place before we get down to King of the North Sea, the 666 beast power king. Okay, in Revelation 13:8, all who dwell on earth will worship him. So this is going to be great worship, beast, vile person, king of the north, number C. Right? In verse 16 of Revelation 13, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or in their foreheads, that no one may buy or sell. Let's see, I lost my place here. That no one may buy or sell except he who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And verse 18, here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for his number is the number of a man. His number is 666. So we should be looking for Egypt to be captured by a great military power. And we're not too far from that. Right now, we are not too far. If Egypt becomes militant against Israel and Syria and Iraq and Iran and other nations make an attack against Israel, we just saw our president over there saying he had the Israeli people back. Right? He was going to be there for them, sort of thing. So be looking for Egypt to be captured along with many other countries, then expect conflict between the major world powers. And after that, expect the third king of the North Sea, who is the abomination of desolation, 666 king.